Everyone knows that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Anybody that's studied economics in any economic school in the Western world. What we have here is we've incrementally gone from a program where mostly students would bring their lunches to school to now we're providing lunches to them. And in fact, there's another provision in this budget for nearly universal pre-K. And we're getting ourselves to a system where our students, from when they're 3 to 4 years old until they're 18, are going to be eating certainly lunch, and if not that, then breakfast in our public school system. And one of the things that I want to make sure that we get into the conversation, and I appreciate the chairman's comments, is that that food be very high quality, very nutritious food, which is going to be the most beneficial to enable learning. If we as a society, as a people are going to pay for our children's lunches and soon our breakfasts from when they're from pre-K to when they're 12 years old, we ought to be having them eat good, nutritious, in my mind, New York foods. So I would like to propose in this body and legislation that it should be our farms that provide our food for our schools. And that it be good New York products, dairy products, meats, cheeses, yogurts, beef, pork, chicken, fruits, vegetables, and that we need, as a state, through our Department of Ag and Markets, to be able to incentivize New York farmers, small and large, to be able to provide these meals to our students. That would make some sense of what we're trying to do here in this budget, which is to provide universal meals for our students in schools. That would benefit New Yorkers as a whole and our students in particular. On the electric school bus mandate, these have been sold to us as a zero-emission school bus. The truth of the matter is that they're electric-powered school buses, and there is no such thing as a zero-emission school bus. The electricity to power them must be made somewhere. It must be transmitted from its point of generation to where the buses are, in this case, stored outside because it's unsafe to keep them in a building. And then that electricity would be used by these school buses to move our kids back and forth to school. And the problem with the program that we've set up here in New York is that we've primarily shifted these costs onto all of the local taxpayers. That is primarily the local property taxpayers in each of the districts. And like has been said, New York is a big, diverse state. There are districts that have high wealth, and there are districts that have low wealth. And the requirement that's set by the state for a technology that is not ready, in fact, we have to now go to truth in advertising to say that these electric school buses are actually going to do, we have to tell them to advertise correctly what they can and can't do so we can do good cost estimates, shows that this program, this technology, isn't ready for prime time. A 2-year moratorium is good, a 4-year moratorium is better, a 10-year moratorium in which school districts could opt out of their own volition at the vote of their board of education would be the best way to go. We've got a lot of work to do when it comes to implementing this technology in New York State because we are a big, diverse state. It's not ready for prime time, and we must very carefully consider how we spend our educational money. Because we as New York spend more per capita than any other student in the United States, than any other state. And I don't think we should increase that cost through an artificial program like the electric school bus mandate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.